All right, this is your warm-up for today. Please, there's open space at the bottom of page 4. Go ahead and pause the video, see what you can do on your own, and answer the questions there. So it says use the diagram to answer each question. The intersection of plane N and plane T. Well, you can see that two planes are going to intersect at a line, and you can see that that line right here is BD. All right, a plane containing E, D, and B. So you can see that E is in the orange, and then D and B are on both planes. So E, D, and B is going to be the one in the orange. So it's going to be the orange plane. Or you can name it plane E, D, B. A point on BC. So if you look at line segment BC, I'm thinking they mean the line BC. So this would be a better question if it had this symbol here. And a point on BC would be D. And 3 collinear points, well, you've got a lot of options for this. You could say B, C, and D. I guess those are your only options. I stand corrected. All right. Again, if you're having a struggle with these vocabulary terms, make sure you're practicing on Quizlet. The link is on Pages. All right, the next thing we're going to do is, if you were in class, we partnered up, and partner A completes number one across, and then B is coaching, and then player B completes the down activity. So you can choose whether you want to complete across or down, one or the other. This is on page 5 in your packet, and basically you're just solving equations. If you're struggling, like for example, the first one is 8y equals 192, so you're just going to divide both sides by 8 to figure out what y is. All right. Next, we're going to have a pair share. So inside your bucket, so you're going to go get the color bucket of where you're sitting. If you are doing this on your own independently, then wherever your desk is, whatever color the little ticket is on your desk, just go ahead and grab a protractor out of your bucket. A protractor looks a little bit like a ruler, like that. And basically it's used to measure, down here is inches and here is centimeters. And it's used to measure angles, but you can also measure lines. So you're going to go ahead and measure AB with your ruler, and you should get like 0.87. And then you're going to measure BC, and you should get about 1.5. And if you add those together, you get approximately 2.37. So AB is about 0.87, the length of BC is about 1.5, and in adding them together, you get 2.37. Basically what this states is that a part, this is a part, this is a part, and this is the whole thing. Is that if you have a part and you add another part to it, you get the whole piece. And this is something we're going to talk about. It's called the segment addition postulate. So if if B is between A and C, then AB, which is a part, plus another part is going to equal your whole, and your whole is going to be from A to C. So let's go ahead and take a look at some examples. So we have BC over here is 34.1, and you have AB is 12.8. So how would you figure out what AC is? Well, you would just simply add those two together. And 34.1 plus 12.8 is 46.9. And in this case, it's being measured in feet. So you would include feet. I'm going to go ahead and erase this so that I can use that same image for the next problem. You can also redraw the image again. So we've got from A to C, you'll notice this is our whole. And from B to C, that is a part. And A to B, that is a part. So we're going to look at 3x minus 5, and this is 17, is going to equal this whole piece right here, which is 5x plus 2. Couple things here. First of all, please notice that I've labeled all my pieces, and then I'm going to use one of these three equations down here. So if I'm trying to figure out what x is, right, I'm going to go ahead and this plus this is going to equal the whole thing. So 3x minus 5 plus 17 equals 5x plus 2. Put my line down the middle. So this is 3x. These are like terms, so I'm going to combine them. That's positive 12 equals 5x plus 2. Now the best thing I can do is subtract 2 from both sides. 3x plus 10 equals 5x. And now I'm going to subtract 3x. And you should end up with 10 equals 2x. Divide by 2, and you should see that x equals 5. So in example 2, I used my equation to figure out that x equals 5. Now for this third one here, AC, I can see AC is my whole, BC is my part, and AB is my part. So I'm going to use the formula part plus part equals whole. So this would be 2y plus 5y equals 4y. 2 plus 5, well that's 3y, that's 7y, excuse me, equals 4y. Now I'm going to subtract 4y from this side, and I end up with 3y equaling 0. So in this case, y equals 0. All right, let's move forward. Another example. And again, it's good to draw a diagram to help you, or do what you need, or label everything. So it says a line, actually we're going to, this is only, if you're in honors class, you can do that problem. But let's go ahead and look at example 5. It says M is between A and Z. And M is a midpoint. So please remember, we know that that is in the middle. If AZ is 27.5, that's the whole, what are the lengths of the segments? Well, if you know that this segment is going to equal this segment, there are two segments, so you're just going to do 27.5 divided by 2. And you end up with 13.75 meters. Okay, in the same situation here, BX is 32. We're going to actually go ahead and just crisscross example 6. All right, so at this point we're going to process midpoint. And please remember, midpoint is when you cut a segment in half. So whenever you see the word midpoint, you should be thinking part plus part equals whole. But in this case, you're going to be thinking part equals part. So it's either one of these. It depends on what they give you. You could also say like whole divided by 2 equals the part. So you kind of have to think about what situation they're asking for. This is not in your packet, so you'll have to ask me for this piece of paper so that you can complete the work. All right, at this point, you should be able to start your practice problems. Again, I would draw a picture first and then work them out.
Major Brewing, please.
So these are the answers to those 1 through 5 practice problems down at the bottom of page 7. And what you're going to notice is that it says that I labeled each of the sections. I drew the picture first and then labeled each of the sections so that I knew what was a part, what was a whole, and went ahead and filled it in. So you can pause the video, make sure that you answer the questions the same way that I did. And then let's move on. What you're going to do for practice, you can go ahead and skip page 8, but I would like you to work on page 9 and 10 for practice. And then there's an exit ticket. It's on quizzes. The code is in pages or on the board. I'm not exactly sure where it is at this point, but you'll find the code for it. If you have a question, just let me know. And go ahead and take that so that I can get the data for that and take it for a grade. So let's go ahead and do an example problem on page 9. Like, for example, number 1. We've got a part plus a part equals a whole. And one of the parts we have is 2. The second part we don't know, which I'll call x, and then we know the whole is 13. So I'm just going to subtract 2, and now I know that x equals 11. Right? If we're looking at number 4, they're just getting more complex in the way the equation's written. So I've got part plus part equals whole. So one part is 6x, the second part is 8x, and the whole is 14. So this is 14x equals 14, and as I can see, x is going to equal 1. All right, be careful with number 7 and 8. You'll notice you actually have to go back and plug x in so that you can see what they're asking for. So what do I mean by this? So for number 7, it says you want to find L to K. So the first thing you need to know is that it's part plus part equals whole, and this is number 7. So the first part is 11x, the second part is 10x plus 1, and the whole is 22. So I'm going to combine my like terms first, so that's 21x plus 1 equals 22. Now I'm going to solve my equation. So x equals 1. Now it's asking for from L to K. Well, from L to K is 10x plus 1. So I'm going to plug a 1 in here, and so I know that is 11. And the reason I plug a 1 in is because I figured out that x was 1. So from L to K equals 11.